Today I'm making journal signature covers for my journal topper. So it's a little bit on top of things, but hopefully I will be able to share with you how I put these together, and you will enjoy the process and learn a little on the way, and together we can encourage each other to take a chance and play with some fabric and textiles. Hi everyone, welcome to Hilltop View Journals. Today I'm going to be working on this fabric journal cover topper, and I worked on it in my last video and I want to add some signatures today. So I've started preparing what I want to do for the signatures, and I've got 3 here. And what I'm hoping to do, now these are very basic and plain signatures because they are going to be for writing, but for this larger one I'm probably going to do a bit more embellishing in there and have lots of pretty lace and things like that. So this one is going to grow somewhat, but these will probably remain fairly flat with minimal embellishing, because my writing will be the actual sort of star of the show. So what I'm thinking of doing is on this side of the topper, I'm going to have a belly band there, and that is going to keep this in place. And I'm going to create this as a as an envelope cover, sort of, like an envelope style cover. So you've seen me make those in the past. I'll grab an example now. Oh. Where is it? So it'll be similar. So it'll be like this, most probably with a closure. And then the journal will be in there. So providing it's not too bulky, that's what I'm planning on doing there. And then the signature, all I've done is I've used tea-dyed paper, I've used parts of the digital kit, I've cut them into a traveller's notebook size, loosely, haven't measured, just looked at the size and thought, yeah, that looks great. And the other pages I've got in here as well, these are background pages from several of Angela Kerr's kits, because I wanted some neutral backgrounds that I could write over, but I still wanted some colour. So I've used quite a few of Angela's kits there. So I will link her website below where you can purchase them. So that's that one. So that's going to be there like that. Not too sure what I'm going to do about this page. I may leave it. I may put another belly band there and put a nice journaling card. I might put a tuck spot there. So many options. That's probably what I'll do is maybe a tuck spot there and something nice to go in there. So in the middle, I'm going to stitch that in place because I can strengthen the spine here and it'll be fairly central. So this one is going to go in here, and this is quite bigger. That's a much bigger size. And I'll measure it. Let's measure the both of them. So the Traveller's one, the signature size, is just over, it's about 4¼ inches across, which is 10.5 centimetres. And then you've got your 8¼ inches, which is 21 centimetres. So that's the smaller traveller's notebook size, which is going to go in there. And then this one, the signature is 12 centimetres, which is 5¾ inches. And again, 21 centimetres, which is 8¼ in length. So that's going to go in there. And I am then going to hopefully embellish the page edges within an inch of their lives, I think. So it'll be all nice and chunky, and I'll put some tags and things like that in there. I don't think whilst I probably have got enough to have a fold over there, it would then stop me doing anything on the edge, on the side there, on the page edges. So I'm going to leave that open. So that's going to be like that. And then on this one, what I need to do, so I'm going to do exactly the same as the first signature, maybe a different shape. Who knows? I might do it from the other way. So it might be sort of, you know, open a different way. Who knows? Might do it like that. I don't know yet. Haven't quite decided. I haven't got that far. But it'll still be in this kind of style. And again, it's plain. Let's have a look. So I've used the front of the kit. And again, I've got some pages from the kit. And again, some of Angela Kerr's backgrounds, which do complement these lovely. Rachel's kit, lovely. So I was happy to use those. So with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to strengthen this part here, and then that will slip under the belly bands. So this will be removable, just like the front one. So I'll be able to write in it, and then when I finish writing in it, I can put it back in then for safekeeping. So hopefully that will work out. So what I'll have to remember to do is not really have anything on the back here other than something to strengthen it so that it slips in and out really easily. But it's nothing stopping me putting a tag or something, or a pocket or something like that there. So this is going to grow. And the reason why I'm not stitching them in is because if I was to stitch that in there like I originally intended, then the stitching would be coming on the front. And I know I could cover it, but it's really, I think it will actually, I think it will cause problems. And it's far easier and more practical to actually have them floating. That is my thought process. Again, here I could easily put a little tuck spot or a pocket on the bottom, and then have something removable so that we don't lose this lovely embroidery. So this is going to become quite chunky. And I still haven't attached this because I'm still thinking about the closure. So I'm going to make that decision right at the end. And then we've got the inside of this. And I do love this. I love this so much. And what I'm thinking of doing for this is actually cutting it and creating a spine. And I'll probably create some kind of loose fabric spine. So then I'll be able to have quite a large journal signature in here with lots of embellishments, and I can play in it and things like that. I may not even write in it. I might just use it as a reference, like an ideas book. That's what I was thinking of doing in there. I don't normally write in A5 sort of standard journal. It's not a problem, but I prefer the smaller journals to do my writing in. But who knows? I'll only know when I get there. But that's probably going to be the last job that I do is the inside of this one. So we've got quite a lot going on. And I'm really excited for this project. It's probably going to go on for a few weeks, actually. So I thought I'd today just start on one of the signatures, get it ready. You'll then have an idea of what I'm doing, and I can then quickly create the second one and then show you the process as well. So hopefully it won't take too long. So let's have a play. This is how the cover of my first signature turned out. And there's some things I love about this and some things that I don't. So what I don't love about it, I am hoping not to replicate in the second signature, and I will show you what those are. I made some notes as I was going through the process. The first one is when you use, whether this is the front or the back, and you've got your material here, so let's just use this as an example. It's a good idea, if you're going to have a simple closure, is to glue the closure before you sandwich the two materials together. The second thing I learnt was that you need to ensure the orientation of your print, because I originally wanted this to go like this with the canvas printed on the front and then the material on the inside. But as you can see, my little birdies are upside down. So I quickly turned it around and made it like this. And actually I prefer it like this, but perhaps it may not have worked. It may not have been a happy ending, and I would have been a bit grumpy about that. So check orientation is really important. Let's have a think now. So add lace to inside cover and stitch. Yeah, so with this one, let's just say I do this exactly the same and I want lace to go on this. Put that on first, add your lace and stitch it on or glue it in place. Well, stitch it on. If you're going to stitch it on, do it before you add the next layer on the back there. So with this one, what I did was I glued it in place, then stitched the material on, and then when I looked at how I glued this piece of lace, I didn't like it, and there was lots of glue marks and things. Then I had to add this rather ugly looking frame around it. So I don't like the frame, so I'd like to avoid that next time. Be more careful with the stitching, and certainly be more careful with the glue if you're not going to stitch it. So that's the lace. Of course, you don't have to have lace on there. I used heat and bond to put the canvas and the material together, but I only used heat and bond up to the part way around this canvas. So I would change that next time, and I think I would use heat and bond over all of it. So I will show you that when I make this signature. So I hope that makes sense. But as I work through it, I'll probably sort of remember where I'd gone wrong and change things. So the first thing I want to do is, and I really like the idea of having the material on the front actually, even though I started wanting the material on the inside cover, I really do like it on the front, and I think that just looks, to me, it's my kind of thing. So I really like that. So that means that this is going to be on the inside, and I don't have to make this the same size, but I am going to use round about the same dimensions. So when I cut this, it's about 5 centimeters going across there, 2 inches across there, 2 inches across there, join it together and cut it. That's how I did this one, and it is a lot easier to do like a very easy shape there rather than do it curved. I wouldn't have been able to work out how to cut it curved. So that's what I will do first. I will cut this, and I'm going to use my cutting mat, and I just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there, and then I just cut across there. So let's find my knife. I don't know if you can see a mark there already. Let's count this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I need it there like that. So that's quite symmetrical. So just cut that like that. This is quite a tough piece of textile, so it'll take several goes. And I don't know if it'll work on a guillotine, especially one where you drag the blade. I think you may struggle with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. So that's my shaped envelope bit. So just as a reminder, I'm just going to go on the opposite side. This one is, no, this is going to be on the inside, sorry. Yeah. So the material is going to be on this side, and that's going to fold over like that. It's easier on this side because I guess the signature will be the right way. You could do it this way round, but the signature would need to be bound there, and then this will wrap like that. Up to you how you do it. So let's do the material next. And in my first signature, I cut the material wider than the inside cover, and I don't think I'll do that this time. I think I'll try and match it so that it's easier then to put any lace or something underneath. So what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to cut around this for now, just to get a manageable section of the material. I'm not quite sure if this will rip, so I'm not going to give it a go. It's got like a sheen on it. It's quite weird. I've not seen anything like this before. I probably should have been more mindful about which part of the pattern I've chosen, but hey, it's cut now. It's cut. Right, okay, so let's make sure we get the orientation right. So I think, no, that is upside down. I hope I've probably done this wrong again now. So I could probably get away. No, I think that is definitely the orientation. So I think what I've done is, yeah, I know what I've done. So this is definitely going to, no, how anybody ever learns anything on my channel, I really don't know. You must be stars, honestly, you must be stars. That is correct. Oh, amazing. Right. Now then, it would make sense at this stage to cut it into shape with it glued with a heat and bond. And if that's all I was doing to this, that is exactly what I would do now, is I would glue this in place. I'm going to use heat and bond, but you can do it by any means. But I would like to have a little bit of frills. So it makes sense to put the frills on this piece first before I do the heat and bond. But then it makes it more difficult to cut this. So I've kind of got to decide on what I'm going to do, and I can't think of any other way of doing it. I truly can't. I'm sure there must be a way. There must be a way of doing it to make it easier. But I can't think, other than not having any trims around the edge. But I think that'd be a real shame, wouldn't it? Because, no, I mean, I've covered this now, but like if I put this on there, then it looks quite messy. The only thing I can do is really try and cut this into shape like it is. I think. So let us try this method, and then if it's wrong or if there's a better way of doing it, we can learn from this and do it differently next time. I'm definitely doing it differently than the first time I did this. And I think I will just leave a smidgen on the edge there. By the time you stitch it, it'll probably stretch anyway. But I definitely think having this in place would make it easier if it was glued in place. So I can fray the edges a bit, possibly, if I desire. suppose you could do it easier if you were maybe having something sandwiched in between again and having 3 layers possibly. Right, so let's do this bit. Okay, and then cut this. If you've got any ideas on how to do this better or easier, please leave comments, because I'm sure other viewers will appreciate you sharing your knowledge. I am just learning as I go along here and sharing the experience with you. I'm not trying to teach you anything, absolutely not. And I will always be honest when it comes to my level of confidence on what I'm doing, and admitting where I know it could be done better, but I just don't know how. And the only way you'll find that out is if you actually do it, which is why I'm doing it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, so this is going to look like this. And I definitely think that it needs that frills and spills. So what you can do now is put your frills and spills on the back of this, and you could use strips of heat and bond or glue and just glue them on. So I'm going to have a look at some material. I've got this here, but I was thinking of trying something different maybe, but this does, I do actually like the look of this. It is very scrappy, as you can see there. I've got a non-tea dyed version here. And that might look nice. That looks nice. It might look better with this material. It didn't look right with the other material because the other material is very dark. Oh yes, that looks nice. Yeah, maybe I'll go for the non-tea dyed version. And I'll cut some strips and come straight back. So adding the lace is totally optional, but I think it will give it a nice look. So what I'm going to do is I've got my strips here, and I'm just going to go around and add the strips, and I don't think I'll even glue them. I'm in place. I'm just going to stitch them. And what I'll do as well, this side now, I can't really add much, so there'll just be a tiny bit there, because otherwise it'll interfere with the closing, and I do need another couple of pieces. So I'm just going to go and do that and stitch them, and then come back and show you what it looks like. So this is how it's going to look, and this is what it looks like just stitched now. And I do appreciate that this might not be everyone's cup of tea if you're not into the whole scrappy kind of look, especially when you consider that, you know, I haven't measured anything and it's all been done by eye and nothing straight, and well, you know, but that's what this channel is all about, really. I like to have fun rather than try and get things completely perfect. Not that there's anything wrong in that, because there are other parts of my life where I am such a perfectionist you wouldn't believe, and it causes all manner of problems. But when it comes to my crafting, I let go. As much as I can, I let go. So this goes like, it goes like that. So this will be on the front. So we've got it, so the orientation's right. We've got the patterns on the top there. And this is how it's going to look. Actually, I like it white, I have to be honest. But I'm going to stick with it like that. I'm not going to make too many changes now. So what I need to do now is actually get this stuck on to this. And I think your trusty old glue stick will be fine. You could use, what's it called? What's the white stuff called? PVA glue. Oh, wow. PVA glue. You could use your fabric glue, Fabri-Tac, Kohlol, anything really. But what you want to make sure is that you do the thinnest layer possible so that you don't have it seeping through your material. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to use Heat and Bond. And I'm going to get my iron out, which is quite a shock to the system. So this is the product I'm using, Heat and Bond Light Sewable Iron-On Adhesive. And I purchased this on Amazon, and it's got some instructions on the back. It's fairly straightforward. You can use it for all your gluing purposes, and what you will do is you will iron this part, which is the gluey bit, onto the back of your fabric. You peel it off. That will then expose another gluey layer, which you would then put your next layer down, and then it'll be nice and secure. And you don't need to stitch it, but I've bought the light version so that it will go through the sewing machine, and it does go through the sewing machine really well. You can get different weights of Heat and Bond. I've only tried the light version. I haven't tried anything else. But I'm sure if you don't want to stitch, then you just buy a different version of it. I haven't been exact with my cutting. I just traced around my shape and sort of did a bit of a cut. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to iron this material just to make sure we get all the creases out first. And I probably should have ironed before I actually cut the Heat and Bond, but there we are. I've done it this way around. So, and I'm going to add it to the fabric and then add it to the backing rather than the other way around, because this has got the most flush surface, because I haven't got the material on, not material, I haven't got the lace stitched onto this. So okay, so that's all right like that. And remember, you do need something protecting your cutting mat if you are using a cutting mat underneath, because otherwise it will get warped. So don't forget that little nugget of information, because I have ruined several lovely craft mats with my heat gun and ironing, and ironing, yeah. If you go over the edge, it doesn't matter so much. I'm sure you could sort of trim it, but that looks about right. So on this goes, and you're supposed to keep it in position and then move it. So it can take a bit of time, so I'll fast forward this bit. So I've ironed it all now, and I haven't really let it cool down. I'm just going to peel this off and keep this because it's really useful for gluing, doing some paint on, because it's got that lovely shiny surface, so you can work on that. So keep that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this down, put this in place, hope that it fits, and then I'm going to iron again. So I still got some creases in here, but I can live with that, but I wasn't expecting the creases. I think it must be the type of material I'm using. And again, you just need to slowly work your way through the fabric and heat it up. So I should have said before I did that ironing that if you wanted a hidden closure, you need to put your hidden closure down and then put your fabric on top. I've decided not to have a hidden closure. I really want to have a closure on the outside. Now, I've done this now and it's turned out, oh, that's it. Oh, I'm doing it again. I keep on thinking that this is the outside. I guess I could, I could definitely get away with that being the outside. Well, I think it would look pretty either way. But anyway, right. Get a grip, Steph. This is the right way. Oh, and what I like about the Heat and Bond is it does give an extra layer. So it's a lot more sturdy. So if you want something really, really floppy, maybe Heat and Bond isn't your option. But I like it because it does give a little bit of stability to your creation. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to stitch the edge. Fairly messy. I may even go around it a couple of times. And because I'm going to have a double edge there anyway, so I might as well just go for it and go really, really scrappy. But I will leave that cool down a fair bit before I put it through the sewing machine, otherwise her indoors will be absolutely hysterical with me, and I just couldn't cope with it today. It's towards the end of the week and I just can't cope with it. I need an easy break. I've got a little bit of a border going around there of the main material, which I like, and my closure is going to go on the front there like that. If I had remembered to do a hidden closure, the way I would do it is so you'd have the closure sort of coming out here, hidden between the two, sort of sandwiched between the two layers of textile fabric, whatever you want to call it. So then I would create a little notch there for this part of the closure to fit through. Then I'd have a closure there, and then I would tie that round there, and it would be tied here. That's how I would do that. But we didn't do that. So we are going to have to go with the other option, which is just having a closure there and wrapping it round. So I'm really, really pleased with that. And it's turned out much better than this version, where I've got these, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not too chuffed with these. I don't like that so much, but I'm going to live with it because I've learned a lot doing this one. And I do actually love the outside. So I'm really happy with the outside. And this one I'm happy with the outside and the inside, and I think when I do my stitching it'll look even nicer. So I will pop back on when the stitching's done. So here's it all stitched. So hopefully you can see my messy stitching going all the way around there. You can't see it so much on this side because there's a little bit of an overlap of the fabric, but then that's what it looks like closed. So let me find my signature. So what I can do now is I can sort of start folding that. I'm not going to fold it too much, just in case I decide to add a little bit more paper or some tags or anything like that in there. So the plan for this now is to decorate a little bit of this with some scrappy clusters. So I need a fabric roll, I believe. I think that would look really nice, and I probably won't do much to the back, I don't think, because I've got on this one I've got the hidden paper clips going in here, so I've got to be mindful of this back area here and here. So I'm probably going to leave that like that. But on this one, let's find the signature. Yeah, here's the signature for this one. This one I'm pretty free because I'm hoping that a belly band will go over this, so I could actually add some pieces there and pieces there. I'm still not happy with this. I don't like it. If I can think of something else to do, I truly will on there. So this is what it looks like. Oh, this is what these look like. And then if I go back to my topper here, let's have a look at how bulky it's getting. Okay, so that's in there. Then I've got the middle one there. And then this is going to be the back one. So that is a pretty substantial topper. I'm not sure if I've made a topper as big as that before. And I've still got this little bit here, which is going to go there like so. And then that is going to go on top of there. So yeah, I'm not going to add, I don't think I'll be adding much more to that. So this is how it's shaping up, and I think I'll finish the video there and start another video on decorating this, because I think that's enough for you to take in really. I've also got this one to do, and I'm going to have a think about that and see how differently I want to do it. I may just have some plain fabric on the inside. Let's see how that one goes. But I definitely need to start making some embellishments now, so I don't want to put that off and actually not get these signatures finished, because I'm feeling like I've got a lot of work in progress projects that aren't actually reaching fruition. So it's time to knuckle down and get these done. So I've got a lovely pile of scraps from today's little project with the signatures. So I'll be starting my next video with these and sharing how I'm going to create some embellishments for my signatures. Bearing in mind I can't afford them to be too bulky. So we'll have a play with this lot and maybe a little bit more of my scrap pile when I dig it all out. And just as a recap, I shared the process for this signature today. I'm not going to stitch it in because I'm still considering what to do with these pages, and I don't think I need to sew them in until I'm actually ready, like the final point of using these signatures, because they're not going to be stitched to the cover. This one will be stitched to the cover, so I've got to make decisions on this one pretty quick, and we'll make that one together as well when I figured out what I'm going to do with it. I haven't shared the process of this one, mainly because there was a lot of ups and downs, and I obviously learnt a lot along the way. But I have kept the footage, so if you are interested in seeing it, having a bit of a laugh and a cry and commiseration with me, then I am more than happy to edit the footage and upload it just for your enjoyment, if it's something that you're interested in watching the process of me learning and struggling on how to make these. But I am going to finish there now because it'll be a nice short video, well, shorter than what I usually do anyway, and I'm going to crack on with making some embellishment for these two signatures, and also have a plan for the next signature. And yeah, I think I've got another 2 or 3 videos hopefully coming your way the next couple of days, just sharing what I'm doing and playing with as much of the fabric I've got as I possibly can before I move on to RachandBella Crafts collaboration next week. And I'll be following along with all the collaborators again next week. I'm not actually taking part in the tutorials, but I obviously will be supporting everyone that is taking part. And I do hope that you're catching up with the YouTube tutorials. I'm hoping to do that on the weekend. I haven't had much time in the evenings this week, but I know that whoever is on the list has shared some amazing projects, and I can't wait to get inspired by them. So if you've liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you give me a thumbs down, please say why, because sometimes I get the odd thumbs down, but there's never any reason why people do that. So it does really help. If you've got some criticism, please share it, because I'll always learn and I'll always accept what you're saying. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. See you soon. Bye-bye for now.